Back here, first things first, Super Bowl champ Chris Canny is with us.
In the building.
What's up, Chris? Good to have
Nothing much,
you.
Jenna. I'm doing pretty good.
Great weekend of football.
Great weekend of football. Also a great weekend for me. Celebrated another birthday.
Get out of here. Happy birthday. Very
Not
nice.
sure if I'm a year wiser. We'll see how that goes.
I bet you will be. I bet after the highlights you will be.
Did we send you something?
Y'all did send me something. I appreciate
Happy
the birthday present.
Canty.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate
I didn't know that. On behalf of Jenna's favorite cupcakes or something like that, right?
Yeah, baked by Melissa.
There you go. That's how we do it.
Pearl and kale swirled in. Baker Mayfield and the Browns trying to take down the Falcons yesterday. Not an easy task. First quarter, let's go Baker. Finds Rashard Higgins for the 28-yard touchdown. Made it look easy. Later in the half, Baker again, this time to Duke Johnson for a 13-yard score. Baker would end the day with 3 touchdowns. Nick Chubb would seal the victory with a 92-yard run. This the longest play from scrimmage in Browns history. Cleveland goes on to win 28-16. The Atlanta Falcons fall to 4-5, but let's start with the Browns. Here's Baker Mayfield after the win.
And when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Care to expand on that?
I just woke up feeling real dangerous.
I gotta tell you, he's actually a really funny guy. If you follow his Instagram account, he's got some really funny stuff there. All right, Chris, what did the Browns prove last night with that win?
Well, I don't know what the Browns proved. I think this is a young football team that's trying to find a way to win games. And after losing the last month, you figured eventually the Browns will find themselves on the right side of it just because they have a lot of talent. Remember, a lot of losing went into being able to construct a really talented roster. They just got to figure out how to win. And so I think that's where the Cleveland Browns are. But I think this is more of an indictment on the Atlanta Falcons, because just when you think they're about to turn the corner, the Falcons always Falcon. And what I mean by that is they let you down, right? You thought, okay, they won 3 straight games. They came out of the bye week and dominated the Redskins in D.C. You thought, okay, maybe the Falcons are going to start to get on a run.
Yeah.
We know they dealt with a lot of injuries earlier on in the season. Now they're trying to figure out how to offset those injuries, guys filling in, playing different roles on this team. Maybe they could make a push for that second wild card spot in the NFC.
And they fell on their face.
But no, not the Falcons. They didn't do it. They didn't get it done yesterday, and I thought they missed a tremendous opportunity.
See, with Baker Mayfield, I'm going to treat his career like our staff treats anytime you invite people over for football. This is a party I don't mind being early for. I don't mind show you and Mangini say all the time, you don't want to be, or you'd rather be late than early to the party. Nah, man, this guy's a star. He's going to be a star. We have seen the light turn on the last month for him. We saw flashes the first 3 games he played, 3.5 games he played. We saw throws, but the numbers weren't there. Last month of football, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks, a 105 rating. That first half yesterday, 12 for 12. Perfect quarterback rating. I know the Falcons' defense is undermanned. I understand they're dealing with a lot of injuries. But this was a game where they were touchdown underdogs, and the Browns dominated throughout. The running game helped.
That's huge.
But Baker didn't make a single mistake.
Yeah.
I didn't see Baker miss one throw significantly, and he's not doing it with the greatest group of wide receivers. Jarvis Landry's been one of the more disappointing free agent signings up to this point.
Didn't I tell you, though?
What?
He did say that. He did say that.
Didn't I tell you about Jarvis Landry?
But see, I wouldn't. But that's one I didn't disagree with you on. I kept saying I thought he was a volume guy in Miami, just a bunch of 100 dinks and dunks a year. That his catch numbers were great, but so you and I were on the same page there. I thought now the receiving core as a whole when they had Gordon.
I was at the top of the page. He was at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
He tried to put it on, but he wasn't listening.
But regardless, the point is what they're doing without a real number 1 receiver, what Baker is growing into, we said 2 weeks ago. Jenna, you asked us, what does Baker have to do the last half of the season? And C and I said simultaneously, survive.
Survive, that's it.
Maybe we should have said thrive, because that's what he's done. A ton of credit, man. It is a great team win. The defense played great. The running back played great. But the story's about Baker, because the Browns, for the first time in my life, have a real franchise quarterback.
But don't you get the feeling that the answer would have been survive if it was the old regime of 2 weeks ago? And maybe, just maybe, Greg Williams, I mean, you saw some more creative things. You saw a couple plays that we didn't normally see. You saw him open up the offense a little bit more. Has that changed at all? Did the game plan change at all to help Baker Mayfield out?
I would say that they put a heavy emphasis on running the football. Kitchens is the appointed offensive coordinator. He's done a good job as far as trying to protect the quarterback. I'm not going to back him up 40 times and have him get matted to the canvas because he won't survive the rest of the season. So the emphasis on mixing some run with the pass. The thing that I think is one of the most impressive things, I think he spread the ball around to 8 different receivers. But Canty, their yardage they had, the top receivers, 31, 33, 39, 33, 22, 28, 18, 6. Like, he was spreading the ball around to everyone. And you typically are not going to see those bad numbers with a quarterback playing almost a perfect game. So, as Nick pointed out, he's not throwing the ball to a bunch of household names, to a bunch of Pro Bowlers. So, what Baker has done at this point in the season, still having his confidence after they fired the offensive coordinator, they fired the head coach. They asked him, how'd you feel this morning? I felt like things was getting ready to get pretty good. That right there is a star in the making. It's kind of like Johnny Manziel, but he can actually play.
Yeah, he can actually ball a little bit. But here's the thing about that. When you take the pressure off of Baker Mayfield from a down-in, down-out basis, and he can turn around and hand the ball off to Nick Chubb, that makes a huge difference. I mean, you had double-digit rush attempts by Nick Chubb in the first half. And, of course, I think he was right around 50 yards. But then he explodes in the second half, ends up racking up 176 yards, including that 92-yard touchdown run. And you're saying, okay, so his average made it look maybe a little inflated because of that one run. But if you take away that run, he still was giving you 4.5 yards a pop. So, I mean, that's the big difference. When you can take the pressure off the quarterback and off the offense by turning it around and handing it off, it makes everybody better. And it keeps Baker Mayfield from being in situations where he can make mistakes.
And you have to give Greg Williams how that defense played against this Falcons offense. Because the Falcons offense, we can say the injuries are on the defensive side. Ain't nothing been wrong with their offense. They've been hurting people offensively, but the game plan they put together to be able to slow down those Falcons, I thought was very impressive.
And I want to give John Dorsey enormous credit. It's one thing to come into a situation where the previous regime stockpiled you with draft picks. It's another thing to then go make the picks. He got the right guy at number 1. He took, to me, a shocking pick at number 4, Denzel Ward, who continues to be a star. Like, he is playing like a future shutdown corner. They took a center at 33. I don't think he's played enough yet to fairly evaluate him. But at 35, Nick Chubb. So the 3 guys who are playing a lot from this draft, his first draft, A-plus pick, and now that Nick Chubb's actually being used, he looks like a legitimate starting running back in this league. Like, John Dorsey could have, there's another where here it goes Darnold, and then Bradley Chubb instead of, at number 4, and it's a totally different story in Cleveland. He took what I consider the gutsy picks as well. Baker wasn't the safe pick. No. Denzel Ward wasn't the safe pick. He went with what he believed and what he had scouted, and you see the talent there to go along with Myles Garrett, Larry Ogunjobi from the previous regime.
Normally you change the players to make the team better. The coaches in this situation needed to be changed. The players were just right, and it's fitting this team quite well. Kenny, stick around. Coming up, did the New Orleans Saints prove they are the best team in the NFL yesterday? That's next.